So it looks like I lied to you. The next video is actually on page number 3, mainly because page 2 is all factoring questions and zero product property, which I covered quite extensively in my last videos on that quiz review. So if you need some review on that, go check out some of those previous videos on factoring. Don't think we need to spend much more time doing it. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and do number 17 and number 19 here, just so we can see some different types of problems here. Here we go. So zeros, roots, horizontal intercepts. My goal here is to set the entire equation equal to 0 here. When I'm doing this, my preferred way is factoring if possible. I'm noticing there is a factoring of 2 that can at least occur here. So I got x squared minus 4x plus 3. Looks like I can actually do more here. I got negative 1 and negative 3 are going to multiply to positive 3 and add the negative 4. So I got 0 equals 2 multiplied by x minus 3 multiplied by x minus 1. So I have x equals 3 and 1 as my two zeros. Remember that those create coordinates of 1, 0 and 3, 0. Please note, you could be doing what we were learning earlier. You could do that quadratic formula instead. Heck, you could even complete the square and do some other stuff, but honestly, factoring is easiest whenever possible. Axis of symmetry, you could be doing what we did in that previous page, x equals negative b over 2a, but it's always smack dab in between those roots. So smack dab in between 1 and 3 is 2, so axis symmetry is x equals 2. And actually finding the vertex, I'll have to plug that axis of symmetry into the problem. So the axis of symmetry in this one is 2, so plug 2 in, and plug it in 2, I get 2 multiplied by negative 1 multiplied by positive 1. That's going to go ahead and give me a negative 2. Vertical intercept, nice and easy. That's always our vertical intercept right there. So the vertical intercept is 0, 6. Again, the thought process there is if I plug in 0, I'll get 0 minus 0 plus 6. That gives me 6 as my y value, nice and easy. Now I already have a boatload of points on this one right here. I got 0, 6. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. There's my 0, 6. I have my 1, 0, my 3, 0. So there's my 1, 0. There is my 3, 0. I also have a 2, negative 2. And here is my axis of symmetry. I think having one more point in here would be nice and great. So if I notice I am 2 away from the axis of symmetry, gives me 6. So 2 away from the axis of symmetry is also going to give me 6. And I'm going to go ahead and connect the dots. Not too bad. After this, number 19, it says to use the quadratic formula in addition as a simplified radical and then round to the nearest thousandth, and write your answer in simplified standard form if complex. So there's a whole boatload of stuff to do after we do the quadratic formula. So we got a equals negative 3, b equals positive 3, c equals negative 8. And then we have negative b divided by 2a plus or minus the square roots of b squared minus 4ac. Oh, I wrote a letter c instead of the, it actually is the 8. Oops. 2 times negative 3. Okay. After that, simplify it down. We got negative 3 divided by negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 9. And then, oh boy, what is this guy? We multiplied it out. Actually, I was doing the work earlier before we started this problem. It's right there. 9 minus 4 times 3 times 8. So 9 minus 87 divided by negative 6. Please note, if you try to do this entire problem in your calculator, you're just going to get a nice little domain error. It's going to give you all kinds of problems, you know, because you'll be doing the square root of a negative number there, 9 minus 87. It's going to go error, non-real answer. So that's no good. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to use our I that we've been working with. So negative 3 over negative 6 becomes a positive 1/2 plus or minus 9 minus 87. Here you go, I'm pulling a student, plugging it into the calculator. We got a square root of 78 divided by negative 6. Simplifying this is a little bit obnoxious, but not that big a deal. Many students prefer the factor tree, so that's what I'm going to do. So, oh, that's a negative 78, by the way. So First of all, square root of negative 78 is the same thing as the square root of 78 times the square root of negative 1. Square root of 78 can be simplified, divide by 2, and you'll get 39. Divide by 3, 13. Nothing else can be simplified. I can simply write my answer as 1/2 plus or minus the square root of 78 over negative 6. That negative 1 there becomes the letter I. Remember, this is two separate answers. You must write your answer as two separate answers. So the two separate answers here are 1/2 plus the square root of 78 over 6i and 1/2 minus the square root of 78 over 6i. Note what I did there. That negative 6 in the denominator here is irrelevant because I'm doing plus or minus. So if I do plus, I'll get a negative there, which is this answer. If I do a minus, I'll get a minus is a positive, which is this answer. So I simply avoid writing it extra because there's no point in doing it. After this, the problem also asks you to round to the nearest thousandth in addition, so this is kind of our first version of the answer. Our second version of the answer is actually plugging it into the calculator. Now, if you didn't show up to my programming lesson on Tuesday after school, you won't have known this, but what you can do is you can actually change the mode in your calculator here to have a plus bi. And if you do that, so I hit mode and I just scroll down and change it to a plus bi. Now I'm quitting out of this. I can actually type this in kind of way back up here even. And that would give me the correct answer. So I'm going to type in 1 divided by 2. Then I'm going to be doing plus the square roots of negative 78 divided by negative 6. I'm also going to be doing the same thing, except instead of adding that, I'm also going to subtract it. Whoop. That was a whoops. So I need 0.5 minus this thing. Oh man. My calculator skills are subpar right now. Alright, there we go. Now we got my two answers. So we got 0.5 plus 1.47. It says thousandth, so I need to go to 2 here, I, as well as 0.5 minus 1.472i. Please note, I didn't actually have to type that into my calculator twice. It's going to be the same answer every time because these guys are conjugate pairs. And here's what my x equals. On to the next one.